Yeah.
Go.
Hello, our project for today is about IFRC. It's presented by Ghida Shaheen, Christopher Dirani, and Michel Khoure to Dr. David Matta.
We'll begin with a summary about IFRC, history, mission, 7 fundamentals, principles, structure, SWOT analysis, business model canvas, key partners, key activity, value propositions, customer relationships, cost structure, supplying to the IFRC, tender documents, culture, and decision making.
About IFRC, the IFRC and Red Crescent Societies are the world's largest humanitarian network. Our Secretariat supports local Red Cross and Red Crescent action in more than 192 countries, bringing together almost 14 million volunteers for the good of humanity. The IFRC has supported communities in need around the world without fear favor for over 100 years.
Okay, now we're going to talk about the history of IFRC. In 1852, the Red Cross movement began with Henry Dunant. He was a witness to the Battle of Italy. In 1919, in Paris, after World War, originally called the League of Red Cross Societies, we were a brainchild of Henry Davidson, the president of the American Red Cross War Committee. Davidson convened the League founding members, and the League's first objective was simple: improve the health of people in countries that had suffered greatly during the war. Within a month of its creation, the League had launched a campaign to counter a massive typhus epidemic in Eastern Europe. In 1923, it launched appeals in the wake of the Russian famine. In 1989, it became the League of Red Cross and Red Crescent Societies. And in 1991, the IFRC that became what they are today.
IFRC mission. The mission of the IFRC: inspire, encourage, facilitate, and promote all the times all forms of humanitarian activities by national societies. How they do so, due to preventing and human suffering contribution to the maintenance and promotion of human dignity and peace in the world, coordinating the work of our member national societies. The Secretariat will ensure the IFRC fulfills its potential as an engaged, accountable, and trusted humanitarian actor on a global scale.
Now we'll talk about the 7 fundamental principles of IFRC. Humanity, the IFRC born of a desire to bring assistance without discrimination to the wounded on the battlefield, and its international and national capacity to prevent human suffering wherever it may be found. Its purpose is to protect life and health and to ensure respect for the human being. Impartiality, it makes no discrimination as to nationality, race, religious beliefs. Neutrality, in order to continue to enjoy the confidence of all, the movement may not take sides in hostilities or engage at any time in controversies of a political, racial, religious, or ideological nature. Independence, movement is independent. The national societies, while auxiliaries in the humanitarian services of their governments and subject to the laws of their respective countries. Voluntary service, it is voluntary relief movement not prompted in any manner by desire for gain. Unity, there can only be one Red Cross in any one country. It must be open to all. It must carry on its humanitarian work throughout its territory. Universality, the IFRC, in which all societies have equal status and share equal responsibilities and duties in helping each other is worldwide.
Okay, now we're going to talk about the structure of the IFRC. We have the IFRC governance and IFRC management. The national societies vote for the General Assembly of the IFRC, and then they decide, approve, and elect the president. And we also have the governing board that consists of 20 members, 4 vice presidents, and 1 ex-official. And for the IFRC management, we have the Secretary General, and we have the groups in Africa, Asia, Pacific, MENA, Europe, Americas, and Geneva team.
We'll begin with SWOT analysis. The SWOT analysis will begin with the strengths and weaknesses, factors legal-based, governance and leadership, management structures and system, human, financial, and material resources. So we have in the strength a well-trained staff, excellent volunteer base, sound Red Cross knowledge, principles, and ideals by staff. In the weaknesses, we have limited human resources, lack of adherence to code of conduct by staff and volunteers, weak human resource development, gap in manpower requirements. Also, we have network of local branches across the country and the decentralized structure in the strength of management structure and system. In the weaknesses, we have a poor communication between headquarters and branches.
Now we will talk about the macro environment of IFRC, opportunities and threats. We will talk about the political environment, good working relationship with the government, auxiliary role of the Dominica Red Cross, recognized by, appreciated by public authorities, economical, business community, increased opportunities for training, huge potential for corporate membership drive, social, good image, strong public support for the work of the RRC and willingness to be part of it as volunteers, partnership and collaboration, partnership with private sector, membership of the RCRC movement, expansion of volunteers, networking, accessing modern technology. Now we will talk about the threats of IFRC, political, resource control, and environmental degradation issues, economical, increase of local and international NGOs, social, high poverty level in the country, increase in violence among youth, partnership and collaboration, scaling down and withdrawal of partner support in a number of areas.
Okay, now we're going to talk about the business model canvas, and we're going to start with the key partners. We have the ICRC, the National Society, the World Bank, Bank of Beirut, UN agencies, MENA governments, and the World Health Organization. And then we have the key activities, funding and supporting the PNs and national societies, implementation of projects, diplomatic role in all the MENA region, advocacy for the humanitarian causes, prevention of sexual harassment and child abuse, crisis management and intervention after war zones, economic crisis and pandemics. And then we have the community-based intervention.
Now we want to talk about the value propositions. First, we start with the assets of the IFRC. 189 Red Cross and Red Crescent national societies, more than 160,000 branches local units, more than 415,000 paid staff, nearly 15.5 million volunteers. After the assets, we have the income. We have 31.4 billion of Swiss francs per year. And after that, the income and the assets, we have our goals. Our goals like to help a total number reached by disaster response and early recovery programming. We helped 77 million people. In red, the 115.4 million of people reached by long-term and development programming worldwide. So that's the goals of how the assets and our income can help us to reach our the goals of the IFRC.
Customer relationship in IFRC. National societies, Lebanese and Iraqi people in the vaccination project, MENA governments, other international NGOs. Cost structure of IFRC, installation, repairs and maintenance, wages, inventory and warehousing costs, fundings, fleet.
Okay, now we're going to talk about the supplying to the IFRC. We have only purchases goods and services with the humanitarian purpose, registers and validate suppliers with whom we do business, purchase for manufacturers and authorized representatives, purchase products that comply with recognized technical standards, invites a range of suppliers to submit tenders, and uses competitive tendering for all procurement. Then we're going to talk briefly about the tender documents. We have the RFQ and RFP. The request for quotation is used as the standard document for the procurement of goods of standards or clearly definable specifications, and the RFP, the request for proposal, is used as the standard document for procurement of goods and services where the technical specifications cannot be precisely determined or are complicated or specialized technical nature with which requires significant input from the supplier.
We'll talk about the culture. It enables our access to communities and to partnerships, as well as encouraging a productive and healthy volunteer and staff base. We fully embrace a culture of ethical practice and place personal and institutional accountability at the heart of all of our work, in line with our fundamental principles, the 7 principles.
Five changes to build trust and put communities at the center. Change number 1, strengthen knowledge and capacity in community engagement and accountability. Change number 2, integrate community engagement and accountability into ways of working. Change number 3, better document success and lessons learned. 4th, increase organizational support and resources. Change number 5, promote a culture of accountability internally and externally.
The decision-making in IFRC, the General Assembly is the highest decision-making body of the International Federation of Red Cross and Red Crescent Societies. It takes place every 2 years and sets the overall policy and vision for our network.